Greetings, companions. Allow me to pose a query. In how many instances have you risen from your preferred seat only to sense a slight unsteadiness in your knees? Or perhaps you've observed that ascending and descending those steps requires a bit more time. Well, you're not isolated in this experience. As we advance in years, our lower limbs may commence to feel feebler and less reliable. However, the positive aspect is this. We have the capability to sustain and bolster them through appropriate nourishment. In this presentation, I intend to communicate 5 comestibles that have the potential to aid in preserving the robustness and vigor of your legs as you mature. Remain attentive, as a few of these might evoke astonishment. Let's commence with verdant foliage, such as spinach, Tuscan kale, spring greens, and perpetual spinach. Now, you may be inquisitive as to why these modest edibles hold such significance for our legs. The explanation resides in magnesium, a mineral constituent that assumes a pivotal function in our muscular performance. As we age, our physical forms naturally undergo a reduction in muscle mass, and magnesium offers assistance in the deterrence of muscular spasms and tenderness, notably in our legs. You're acquainted with the discomfort that leg spasms can induce, particularly during nocturnal hours, correct? Magnesium has the capacity to facilitate the relaxation of those muscles and diminish the regularity of spasms. However, its benefits extend beyond this. Magnesium also engages in the governance of calcium, which reinforces skeletal fortitude. The more resilient our bones, the greater the assistance they render to our muscles and articulations. This signifies that upholding the well-being of your bones carries equivalent importance to maintaining robust musculature. And although the impact might not be immediately apparent, with the passage of time, the incorporation of verdant foliage into your repasts will aid in sustaining a wholesome equilibrium between your muscles and bones, crucial for an energetic and autonomous mode of living. You have the option to exercise ingenuity with verdant foliage. I derive pleasure in assembling a generous salad with crisp spinach and Tuscan kale, incorporating some nuts, a modicum of oleum olivae, and a splash of citrus limon. You can likewise introduce them into broths, whisked eggs, or blend them into potables if you're inclined towards something light and nourishing. The allure of verdant foliage resides in its adaptability. They lend themselves to effortless integration into virtually any dish. Subsequently, let's deliberate on the might of adipose fish, such as Atlantic salmon, scombros scombros, and sardines. Y comprehend. A contingent among us does not harbor a strong affection for fish, but have confidence in me. It merits an endeavor. Adipose fish are replete with omega-3 fatty acids. These constitute the salubrious fats that not only facilitate the maintenance of your cardiac system in prime condition, but also execute marvels for your muscles and junctures. As we progress in age, inflammation emerges as a more frequent adversary, and omega-3s contribute to its mitigation. Diminished inflammation equates to reduced discomfort in your muscles and junctures, notably the knees and coccyx. In the event that you've ever been acquainted with that rigidity or soreness, it frequently originates from inflammation, and omega-3s provide assistance in its alleviation. However, the advantages are not confined to the reduction of rigidity. Omega-3s have demonstrated efficacy in the enhancement of muscular performance and the deceleration of muscle tissue catabolism. This bears particular significance for us more mature individuals, as muscle wastage constitutes a prevalent predicament that accompanies advancing years. Through the consistent consumption of adipose fish, you're furnishing assistance in the preservation of your lean muscle bulk, a crucial factor in sustaining the robustness and steadiness of your legs. Now, I am cognizant that fish does not invariably present itself as the most convenient selection, but its preparation can be quite uncomplicated. I harbor a fondness for uncomplicated grilled Atlantic salmon accompanied by a mere trickle of oleum olivae and a scattering of herbage or condiments. In the event that you're not an enthusiast of culinary endeavors, tinned sardines or scombros are equally nourishing and remarkably effortless to incorporate into a salad or pasta. Endeavor to target 2 helpings of adipose fish on a weekly basis. Trust me, your muscles will register their appreciation. Now, let's address berries. Vaccinium corymbosum, Rubus idaeus, Fragaria, and Rubus fruticosus. They may be diminutive, but they encompass a substantial reservoir of nourishment. These petite jewels are saturated with antioxidants, notably anthocyanins, which bestow upon them their captivating, intense hues. Antioxidants are indispensable for the curtailment of oxidative stress within your organism, an aspect that we earnestly aspire to counteract as we mature. Oxidative stress fundamentally denotes detriment engendered by free radicals, capable of expediting senescence and innervating our muscles, articulations, and bones. Berries, with particular emphasis on Vaccinium corymbosum, have demonstrated efficacy in the attenuation of inflammation, the enhancement of circulation, and the safeguarding of your muscles against impairment. These advantageous attributes extend direct reinforcement to your legs by fostering more robust, more pliable junctures and providing assistance in the mitigation of discomfort or rigidity. Furthermore, the antioxidants present in berries aid in the reduction of muscular lassitude, thereby affording you a heightened sensation of invigoration for ambulation, horticulture, or the execution of daily errands. The incorporation of a greater quantity of berries into your dietary regimen is uncomplicated and delectable. You have the option to consume them in their fresh or frozen states, sprinkle them over your matinal cereal or farina, or even blend them into a potable. Personally, I relish them with a modicum of Greek yogurt and a trickle of mel. It constitutes an ideal snack or light after-dinner treat that proves as advantageous for your physical form as it does gratifying. Let us not neglect nuts and seeds, such as juglans regia, amygdalus, and linum. These transcend mere palatable snacks, for they are replete with indispensable nutrients capable of aiding in the maintenance of our legs' robustness. These comestibles boast a wealth of protein, wholesome fats, and fiber, all of which are pivotal for the sustenance of lean muscle mass as we mature. Protein assumes a fundamental role in muscular restoration and recuperation, and the wholesome fats present in nuts, such as omega-3s, contribute to the reduction of inflammation and the promotion of comprehensive joint well-being. Now, protein and fat do not constitute the sole nutrients discoverable within these diminutive powerhouses. Nuts likewise abound in tocopherol, a potent antioxidant. Tocopherol extends protection to your muscles and articulations against detriment and facilitates the restoration process in instances of overexertion. In the event that you've ever been acquainted with muscular soreness in the aftermath of an extended day, tocopherol can assist in the alleviation of tenderness and the preservation of pliability. The consumption of a handful of nuts or seeds on a daily basis represents an uncomplicated approach to incorporating supplementary nourishment. You have the option to snack on amygdalus and juglans regia, introduce ground linum into potables or farina, or even sprinkle a handful of assorted nuts over a salad. Personally, it constitutes an excellent means of bestowing a touch of crispness upon my repasts and a wealth of advantages upon my physical form, notably my legs. Finally, let's address batatas, an oft-neglected treasure within the realm of wholesome edibles. These aesthetically pleasing orange root vegetables are not merely delectable, but also replete with nutrients that prove incredibly advantageous for our legs. Initially, batatas exhibit a high concentration of potassium, a pivotal mineral constituent for muscular well-being. Potassium aids in the maintenance of appropriate fluid equilibrium within the organism and governs the muscular aptitude for contraction and relaxation. In the event that you demonstrate a propensity for muscular spasms or harbor the perception that your legs lack the capacity to sustain the pace of the day, potassium can offer assistance. It curtails the susceptibility to leg spasms, notably during nocturnal hours when a multitude among us encounters that unsettling, abrupt muscular convulsion. However, that does not encompass the entirety of their benefits. Batatas likewise constitute a superb origin of complex carbohydrates, which furnish your physical form the consistent vigor requisite for all endeavors, ranging from ambulation to the execution of routine domestic tasks. In contrast to simple carbohydrates, which have the potential to precipitate a swift elevation followed by a subsequent decline in your blood glucose levels, complex carbohydrates sustain your energy levels with greater stability, precluding sensations of exhaustion or sluggishness. This assumes a pivotal role when your objective centers on sustaining mobility and preserving the robustness of your legs. Furthermore, batatas are replete with fiber, which fosters comprehensive well-being through the enhancement of digestion. Batatas exhibit versatility and simplicity in their preparation. You have the option to roast them, mash them, or even transform them into French fried potatoes. Personally, I harbor a fondness for them when roasted with a modicum of oleum oleae, allium sativum, and rosmarinus officinalis. They likewise constitute an excellent inclusion in stews, casseroles, and even baked into muffins for a wholesome snack. Beyond their nutritive attributes, they manifest a natural sweetness, rendering them an agreeable, flavorful selection for any repast. Thus, there you have them, my companions. 5 uncomplicated, delectable comestibles capable of fostering robust, vigorous legs as you advance in age. I acknowledge that the implementation of alterations does not invariably present itself as facile, but in the event that you commence by incorporating merely a handful of these into your dietary regimen on a weekly basis, I venture to suggest that you shall perceive a disparity. Bear in mind, our legs convey us through the trajectory of existence. Ergo, let's sustain them in optimal form. And in the event that you derive pleasure from these recommendations, ensure that you enroll in my astute senior newsletter for supplementary counsel geared towards facilitating the maximization of your existence at any stage of life. Exercise caution, and I shall reconvene with you subsequently. Recollect to indicate approbation, proffer commentary, and subscribe. Let us perpetuate these dialogues.